if a woman's life is at risk, do you believe that she ought to be able to get an abortion?
Well, it's not up to me to make the decision on who lives or dies, right?
I'm asking you. I'm not asking the state. I'm not asking my state legislator. I'm saying you, American. How do you feel about this?
It is not up to me. It is.
I know it's not up to you. Play with the game.
I'm not playing the game that ain't there, bro.
Why can't you just answer these questions?
I think.
So we're going to invite American. All right, American, it does show that you are muted, so you're going to have to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
First Amender, I have a very important question for you, bro.
Yeah, what do you got?
So what do you think of the ethical mass production and commercialization of human breast milk, and what do you think its economic and social impacts would be?
Are you being serious right now?
I'm dead serious.
You're not serious. This is not a serious discussion.
It is a very serious
discussion. Do I got to talk about breast milk with you? I don't want to talk about breast milk. It's as serious as you want it to be.
It's as serious as you want it to be. Well, you never put your hot takes or listen to the side chat, so I mean, I'm just trying to
I did.
talk
it says
how we could
right
empower,
there,
women forever, and decrease poverty.
It literally says hot takes list here.
Oh, okay. I see it now.
Okay.
Let's see. Who is Ali C. Lopez?
Huh?
Who is Ali C. Lopez? Gorlock the Destroyer?
Oh, yeah. That's the very overweight trans woman who is very popular on Instagram. She
never heard of her.
She's called Gorlock the Destroyer. You've not heard of this?
No, I wouldn't be asking if I didn't know, bro.
All right, I'll show you.
Oh,
I'll show you like instantly, and you will know. You will know who it is. You will know instantly who it is. Okay, all right. Look at my stream. This person.
I'm trying to get back. I don't know who that is, but she looks pretty disgusting.
You don't know who that is?
No, she looks like a whale.
Anyway,
like a beach whale.
She gets a lot of ridicule, obviously.
She should. I mean, look how she looks.
Well, me personally, like seeing the way that she acts, she doesn't really care about what people think about her. She just lives her life as she sees fit, and I think that's incredibly refreshing. And I think that is a part about her that I think people don't acknowledge, or they just kind of look past. And she is lambasted by millions of people on a daily basis, and she's just as positive as she was the day that she showed up on the internet.
She looks disgusting.
I am glad that you are respecting her pronouns. That's very progressive of you, American. I would not have expected that.
I didn't know that. I don't know. Okay, they, them. What is its name? Because I refer to trans people by their name.
All
I don't refer to their pronouns.
Yeah.
They're preferred.
Her name is Ali C. Lopez.
So Ali. I don't want to talk about this fat broad. Let me see this list. Where'd it go? Let's see. Oh, we've gone over that already. What is mind-body dualism?
Go to the bottom. You'll be better off going to the bottom because those are more recent. Bottom. Pick something in the middle. People rarely ever go to the middle and go like, "Ooh, I'm going to argue that."
There's some big news in town right now. The Emirates NBA Cup.
I like Ali C. Lopez. I think she's actually great. People may not find her physically attractive, but what I do find enjoyable about her is that she really just doesn't give a crap about what anybody thinks about her. And I like that. I like that. that vibe.
Hot take number 98: pineapple or anchovy on pizza is good. I mean, that's subjective, is it not?
Well, I like it. I think it's tasty.
I don't. I mean, that, well, the discussion would just end right there.
Yeah.
Republicans don't give a crap about children. They just want to control women.
Yep. 100%.
All Republicans?
Republicans in general. They think women are breeding machines, right? And that they should have control over their bodies. What?
Would you consider me as one of those Republicans?
Yes. Yes.
Why?
Because
Why?
you've held those general positions. Yeah.
What general positions did I hold?
Are you anti-abortion?
I am.
Okay. You
That
want to
doesn't
treat
mean
women's
that I don't-
bodies as if that they are breeding machines and that they should be having babies, not going around having promiscuous sex and having
right.
abortions. They
I don't
shouldn't be
think men-
doing
I don't
that
think
because they should be
men
having
should be- I
babies.
don't
That's what their reproductive functions are for.
I don't think men should be going around doing that either, though. I don't think anybody should just be going
Well,
around doing that.
I mean, again, I just think that people should have a right to do with their body as they see fit. We live, of course, in the United States. And from what I've been able to tell, in the United States, we possess our own inalienable rights of life, liberty, property, pursuit of happiness. And, you know, if you want to have a lot of sex, you know, you can go ahead and do that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think people should be demonized for doing this thing that's perfectly natural. And it doesn't, you know, as long as it's between consenting adults, I don't care. Have fun.
Haven't you heard about the mental health implications that these can cause, though?
Sure.
Mm,
There's
I'm
also
sure you know,
mental
I know
health
you're all about
implications on the
studies.
opposite side, right? You're aware of that, right? So
Yeah,
at that
they're far
at that
worse on
point,
the other end.
it depends, right? It comes down to a person by person basis. But the difference is that I would argue it on a person by person basis, but you, however, would argue it from a governmental basis. Do you see the problem
I argue
here?
it from a societal basis. I argue it from a societal basis.
Should government ban abortion?
Should government ban it?
Yes. Do you believe?
They should be
Are
left
you
up
pro?
to- it should be left up to the states.
Okay, so government should ban abortion.
It should be left up to the states. It should be like a referendum on each state's
So,
voting
according
ballot.
to you, let's say, for example, that you have a state that is staunchly anti-abortion, doesn't allow women to get abortions, and then there's a state nearby that allows women to get as much abortions as they want. So it is perfectly okay that a woman who is pregnant in their state that is not allowed abortion should be able to go into another state and then get an abortion because it's a state's issue.
Correct.
And you're okay with that.
Yeah.
It's really weird. It's really weird.
Why is that weird?
Well, because you're like
just
stuck
don't-
on like
I don't
the
like
state by state issue as opposed to like you're looking at like a weird, I guess a state's implication or like an argument that these rights ought be left up to the states instead of a moral implication, which I assumed that was your predicate on why you don't want abortions because you're Catholic.
Correct. But I also understand, you know, these are things that should be left up to state and at least local governments and not the federal government.
Gotcha. Do you think that the Civil Rights Act should be left up to the states?
See, we're trying to do apples to oranges here. I'm not going to do that with you.
Well, no, I'm not comparing the two.
No,
I'm
not,
just
I'm
asking.
not, I'm not doing this binary questioning, Amender. You're not with this yes or no shit. Like, we're not talking
Okay,
about
well then give
civil
me your
rights. We're talking
nuance. If
about
it's not a
abortion.
yes or no,
We're talking.
what is it? Like,
We're talking about abortion. We're not talking about civil rights.
all right, let me
Abortion is not a
try
civil
let me
right,
try
by
it
the
this way, right? Hey Daniel, do you think that the Civil Rights Act should be left up to the states and not federal?
Nope.
Okay, that was pretty quick. Hey, American, do you think that the Civil Rights Act should be left up to the states?
I reject the premise.
I'm
not what we're
lost.
talking about.
I don't know what
No,
premise.
you're
It's a
changing the
simple
topic.
question.
You're changing the topic.
Well, no,
You're
we'll go
changing the
back.
topic.
We'll go right back to abortion. Don't worry. I promise you
No,
that.
because
but
I'm not
you were
talking
making
about civil
arguments
rights.
about states' rights is more important than federal rights in terms of abortion. And so I'm curious as to how far that goes. So I'm bringing up the Civil Rights Act. Should the Civil Rights Act be repealed and left up to the states?
All rights should not be left up to the state, obviously. But this is one of those issues that should be left up to the states.
Okay, so the Civil Rights Act should be federal.
Correct.
Okay. So if the Civil Rights Act should be federal, do you believe that women ought to have control over their bodies?
Is murder a federal or state crime or both?
It's a federal.
Okay. Well, then, should we make abortion a federal crime?
No, not at all.
Well, then get the federal government out of it then.
Let me ask you this. If a woman's life is at risk, do you believe that she ought to be able to get an abortion?
It's up to the state she lives in. I can't be the decider on
No,
that.
no,
That I'm Catholic and I'm not going to be for it.
I'm pretending that you're the state, you're the decider. So I'm just going to ask you.
Well, it's not up to me to make the decision on who lives
I'm
or dies,
asking
right?
you. I'm not asking the state. I'm not asking my state legislator. I'm saying you, American. How do you feel about this?
Up to me. It is.
I know it's not up to
me
you.
decide
Play
who
with the
lives or
game.
dies. I'm not playing the game that ain't there, bro.
Why can't you just answer these questions?
I think so. Honestly, I think one of the most motherly things a mother could do is sacrifice her life for her own child.
Okay. Well, I mean, if I had to imagine me personally, I think if like my life was potentially in danger, that is a decision that ought be up to me as to whether or not that I sacrifice myself for that. I do not believe that that should be a decision that's made by a politician 1,000 miles away, because I believe in the inalienable rights of life, liberty, property, pursuit of happiness. So
what about
when
the
I'm talking
inalienable
about a
rights of the
woman
life
going
of the baby?
through an abortion, or whether or not that that they need to go through a pregnancy, every single pregnancy is potentially life-threatening. Every single one of them. Okay. You never actually know whether or not it will be life-threatening. And there's many instances of a normal, naturally induced pregnancy or birth that leads to the death of the mother. That means every single pregnancy is potentially life-threatening, which means that every single person needs to make that decision for themselves. I do not believe a politician 1,000 miles away should have to make that decision on their behalf. It is completely insane.
I agree with you. A politician who lives 1,000 miles away shouldn't be able to do that. That's why I'm against the federal government having his hand in that. I agree with you there.
Again, by making it a states' rights issue, you allow the states to be able to impede on people's inalienable rights and basically make the decision for them. So much so that many of them have to go across state lines, even under things as black and white as an ectopic pregnancy. Do you know what an ectopic pregnancy is?
I don't, but I'm sure you're going to tell me.
That's fine. So an ectopic pregnancy is where a egg is not forming in the uterus, which is designed to stretch, and instead is forming in the fallopian tube, which is not designed to stretch. The development of this child will result in the death of the mother. There are many states that actually do not allow the removal under an ectopic pregnancy. They simply let the mother die. They have to go across state lines because it is now a states' rights issue. I don't believe this to be correct. I believe this to be morally evil. I believe it to be wrong.
So you don't think it, do you think it's morally evil that people have to cross state lines to, purchase marijuana, and they have to stay across those state lines in order to use it? But if they go across back to where they came from, where it's illegal, they can, be thrown in fucking jail, if not prison, for, trafficking and all kinds of other crazy shit. That's, my body, my choice. Right? I should be able to ingest.
Yeah, you should be able to ingest marijuana. That's correct.
Heroin.
Well, I don't agree with that. There's some.
Why?
Pretty,
Why not?
Well,
why
because
not?
of
Why
the
not?
societal implications of consuming
Oh.
those types of drugs. There's an inherent harm that is caused. That is, however, not the case regarding abortion. In fact, having easy
hold
access to
on.
abortion actually improves people's economic outcomes. So it's literally the
So if
exact
I'm
opposite.
So let me get this straight. If I'm shooting up heroin in my apartment bedroom, not hurting anybody, and I just happen to overdose and die, that's on me, right? My body, my choice, right?
No, because there's other people that are involved.
Who?
Well,
It's
are you,
me.
you're on
It's
heroin,
me and
right?
the it's
So the
it's me and the
probability
needle,
of
bro.
you being able to sustain that indefinitely, right? Usually people who are addicted to heroin can't really maintain jobs for very long. And so what ends up happening is that these people end up stealing, and they end up harming all sorts of people in society
And
as a result.
and pregnant women who want abortions harm unborn babies. Congratulations.
And pregnant women want to harm unborn babies. Well, that's a question as to whether or not that you consider that the unborn baby is worthy of moral consideration. I posit that prior to 20 weeks it is not, and at 25 weeks it's an induced birth.
Oh man. I don't know, man. I feel like kind of hypocritical with the whole pro-choice thing, because
How
you're
is that
for choice,
hypocritical?
and then
Everything of what I have said has been entirely consistent.
no, it's not. But you literally just said people shouldn't be allowed to do heroin.
That's correct, because of the societal harm.
Okay, well, who are they harming
Abortions
if it's
don't
just
create
themselves?
harm. In fact, they help
don't?
people. Yeah.
Really? So there's
Sure.
no after effects of a woman having an abortion, no mental health effects that they have to go
Oh
through
no,
later
for
in life.
sure. For
Like,
sure there's negative effects there. I wouldn't
Okay,
doubt
well
that.
then. So I mean, like, so Amender. So are you for like abortions for like any reason at all, or are you for it just for those rare cases that you
I
bring
mean, I
up?
think if there is it's left up to the individual. If the individual wants to go through with that, then do it. Most abortions.
wrong eye color, wrong hair color, wrong gender. Flush it out. That's what you believe.
Sure, up to them.
Interesting.
Yep, I'm not the one that has to see that baby to term, and it's not my body. I don't think
What
it's
if it
up
was
to
your
me to make
baby?
that decision.
What-
I think that's the
What if it was
decision
your
of the
baby?
mother.
What if you were the father?
The person that has to go through that is the mother, not the father. The father just comes
Father-
in a womb and then
Oh.
walks away.
So you think a father has no no
Athena
no
also
emotional
brings up a good
attachment
point.
at
They say you
all
can't
to
tell
a-
eye color or hair color in utero. That's silly.
It doesn't matter. You still said yes. If for that reason, you would still be for it. So
I
it's
mean, I don't care.
irrelevant.
Like, whatever your reason is, it doesn't matter. The point is that I believe it ought be left up to the mother, because it is the mother who risks their life by having a baby.
Well, yeah, every woman who does that. And me and you wouldn't be here today if our mothers chose otherwise, having this discussion.
That's correct. That's fine. That's up to the mother to make that decision.
I mean, are you happy about the decision your mother made?
Sure.
Sure.
I mean, to be fair, right? Like, if I got aborted, I really wouldn't know any better.
Would you though? Are you sure about that? Like, how do you know?
Yeah,
for
I
certain?
wouldn't be consciously awake to perceive a negative outcome.
I mean, there's, evidence out there that shows that, embryos and fetuses, respond to foreign intrusions inside of their development chamber.
That is true. After 20 weeks.
I've heard it's even as soon as 10 weeks is when brain activity begins.
No.
You
The
heard
problem is
neurons,
that it's not physically
Electrical
connected to
impulses
the.
start firing.
It's not physically connected to the body, and so it can't actually respond to anything. It's not connected to anything.
So then why do they instinctively dodge, instruments at such a, early development stage?
Let me look that up.
They're called automatic reactions of the body. That's why if I
Yeah,
hit
it's
you with a
called
hammer in the knee, if I hit you with a small hammer in the
Instinct.
knee, your knee is going to go up. It's not because
So
you
a
have
living-
some thought
A
process.
living
I'm still explaining
a
to you,
living
American.
organism.
I'm still explaining to you. It's like you're not gonna have like an intellectual process on why you should lift your feet up, right? This is an instinctual thing that is, by nature, right? And this is happening with other life forms that have no brains. Okay, they also have the same instinct to dodge away from harm or things that they perceive as harm.
Why is something that's not alive doing that?
I'm looking this up, and I'm seeing that specifically those fetuses that exist within the first trimester, 12 weeks and prior, they have a very limited capacity for coordinated movement, as well as their nervous systems are not yet fully developed. Movements that do occur are generally reflexive and not indicative of intentional action or awareness. So a good example would be a reflexive twitch,
reflexive
rather
as in
than
wanting
a
to defend their
purposeful
life.
dodge or attempt to escape. No, it's kind of like, Daniel's right when he brings up when your knee gets hit with a hammer. It's more like that.
Well, that's to protect your, to protect that's a protective
No, you're hitting
system,
a particular
right?
nerve that
happens.
causes the reflexive reaction.
Yeah, and that's for a reason.
Okay, but it's not a dodge, is it?
It's not necessarily a dodge,
It's
but
just
it's
a
still like a
reflex.
defensive. It's still a defensive. Reflexes are a defensive mechanism of the body. Are they
you
not?
said specifically that it was a dodge, and I'm simply saying that it is not a dodge.
It doesn't have. Okay, just because you hit someone on the knee with a hammer and they have a reflex
Okay,
doesn't
so
necessarily mean it's a dodge.
so
but
the
it's still a
intentional,
defensive
purposeful
mechanism.
action is not vindicative. That's not the case. So
It's still a
I go
reflex
back.
in its order to defend
I go
itself.
back to this. Also doesn't even address my initial point. The problem is that the woman is the one that has to endure the birth, and there is a non-zero chance that they can die. Don't you think that ought be up to the mother to make that decision?
No.
Why? Who should it be up to if it's not the mother?
God.
Okay. Well, God's not talking to you.
Yeah, he is. It's called
All right,
open
nope,
your Bible.
You know what?
He's speaking
I got
to you right there.
Hold on. I got you. Hold on.
Oh, I can't wait to hear this.
I got my Bible. It's getting me signals. Don't on. I have to ask God.
I need to ask which
Wait,
version of the
hold
Bible
on. I'm going to
is
ask God. I'm going to ask God. All right.
You don't even believe in him. How are you going to ask him?
Mm,
This is cringe.
God, you think what verse should I look up? Oh, hold on. Let me go ahead and look up that verse real quick. Hold on. Hold on. God has told me. Open Numbers. Why Numbers, God? I'm going to show you. Okay, let's see here. Page 112.
I know where you're going. I know where you're going.
Whoa, what's wrong? What's wrong? Wait, I'm asking God. I have no idea where he's leading me. God, why did you tell me to do this one?
So cringe.
What? What's wrong?
Nothing. Go on, bro. Go on, bro. Just go ahead. Keep going. I'm listening.
All right. Let me see here.
You're talking about Numbers 5 through 11, right? I mean, numbers of 5, 11 through 31. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes. You know what? You got it. Look at you.
It's not what you think it means.
And the Lord said to Moses, "Say to the people of Israel, if any man's wife goes astray and acts unfaithfully against him, if a man lies with her carnally and it is hidden from the eyes of her husband, and she is undetected through she has defiled herself, and there is no witness against her, since she was not taken in the act. And if the spirit of jealousy comes upon him, and he is jealous of his wife who has defiled herself, or if the spirit of jealousy comes upon him, and he is jealous of his wife, though she is not defiled herself, then the man shall bring his wife to the priest, and bring an offering required of her, 1/10 of an ephah of barley meal. He shall pour no oil upon it and put no frankincense on it, for it is a cereal offering of jealousy. a cereal offering of remembrance, bringing iniquity to remembrance. And the priest shall bring her near and set her before the Lord. And the priest shall take the holy water in an earthen vessel and take some of the dust that is on the floor of the tabernacle and put it into the water. And the priest shall set it onto the woman before the Lord and unbind the hair of the woman's head and place her hands in the cereal offering of remembrance, which this cereal offering of jealousy. And in his hand the priest shall give her the water of bitterness that brings the curse. The priest shall then make her an oath, saying, if no man has lain with you, and if you have not turned aside to uncleanliness while you are under your husband's authority, be free from this water of bitterness that brings the curse. But if you have gone astray, though you are under your husband's authority, and if you have defiled yourself, and some man or other than your husband has lain with you, then, and let the priest make the woman take the oath of the curse and say to the woman, the Lord make you an execration and an oath among your people. When the Lord makes your baby fall away and your body swell, may this water that brings the curse pass into your bowels and make your body swell and baby fall away. And the woman shall say, Amen. Amen. So what did we just read just now? What did God try to tell me? I don't understand this Bible
This
stuff.
is not talking about. It's talking about infertility.
So let me get this straight, right? The wife is cheated on the husband, and then they're to go to the tabernacle, and she's to drink the bitter water that is the tabernacle sand. What happens in the tabernacle? Is it sacrifices of like goats and stuff? So there's like a lot of bloody sand, and she's to drink that water. And if the baby falls away, then she was a curse. But if the baby doesn't fall away, then you're good. I think that's what I read, right?
This doesn't approve of abortion in any way, shape, or form.
Well, I literally just read an induced abortion straight from the Holy Bible.
That's not an induced abortion.
Yes, it is.
It's not.
But God told me, look, I got my hat on.
It doesn't have any real attestation from the biblical period. It's never mentioned again in the Bible.
So this never happened? That never happened? That's not in the Bible?
Only
I just
a
read
few
it from the Bible.
figures
It's
related.
right in the Bible.
And it's all it's something that they heard about. It's never something that they actually witnessed either.
Okay, yeah, so it's got to be, I mean, I guess it must not be an abortion, right?
The Mishnah states
What
the
happened? I
practice
thought
was
that
also
God doesn't
stopped.
like abortion.
The Mishnah states this practice was also stopped. So there's a question of whether.
Well,
this
I
was
mean,
ever
I'm
even
pointing out
actually
that it's in the
used.
Bible. It's still there. You can pick up your Bible and read it yourself.
Well, I defer to the Catholic Church on this. Okay.
Ah,
I don't-
Wait,
yeah,
was
yeah.
it stopped or did it never happen?
Well, there's question to whether or not this method was even ever actually used.
No, but if you say it stopped, it means that at some point it happened. It was happening and then it stopped. That's literally the definition of stop.
Well, because some of the recollections of the procedure differ from the biblical method.
So it did happen.
So no, but that means that there's questions of whether or not this was even ever actually used. It's also important to note
Yeah,
that.
but you said it was stopped.
Well, hold on.
So I'm
hold on.
asking
It's
if
also-
you're
Wait,
right. You said
he's
it was
reading
stopped.
off
Let me finish.
ChatGPT, guys. Wait, I
not
just
reading from
freaking caught you
ChatGPT.
red-handed. You just said it's also important to note that. Oh, no.
I'm actually getting this from the Catholic Church, but okay. Anyways, so
No, post link now. You just said
Sure,
it's important to
sure.
note that.
I
Do
got
it.
you.
Post it.
I
Post
got
it.
you.
Post it right now.
let me.
You
I'm
just
on my
said
computer.
it's
Let me
important to
get,
note that, bro. You're going straight on ChatGPT, bro.
Oh yeah, when I protest in the South chat, you feel pretty dumb while you're laughing over there.
Because you just said the classic ChatGPT line. Oh no.
Right now, let me see where it's.
Bro, that was legendary. That was
Not legendary, because you're about
legends.
to be proven wrong.
Legends are made today.
Hey, it is hard to get that link to post.
Yeah,
to
it
the
takes
site.
a while. Yeah, because he was
Takes a
he was
while for
he
that
was
link.
sitting there on ChatGPT this whole time.
Right now.
There it is. There it is. All right.
That's Chat GPT all day right there, buddy.
Control F. It's important. Oh, darn. Doesn't say it's important to note that. Why did you say that? Why did you say that so specifically?
It does. It says it in the
That's
last.
really commonly in ChatGPT. Why?
It says it in
would
the
you read
last
that?
paragraph.
I literally just Control F'd. It's im. It's not there.
It is.
No,
important.
it says it is important to
It
know
is
that, but that
important.
wasn't what you were saying though, because you weren't talking about the
All right,
reward
there it
for
is.
innocence.
That took a while.
When
my
you were-
dude.
I was getting to
Yeah, but-
that
Took a while.
before Mender spurred out about ChatGPT.
So
Yeah,
you-
but
He was wrong
that had
about.
nothing to
Are
do.
you-
That had nothing to do with my question though.
Are you going to concede, Mender, that this is not ChatGPT?
All right, I'll take you at good faith that you did not ChatGPT. But beside the point, let's take a look at a little background. Here, I'll post it live.
Yeah, whatever you say isn't coming from the
A little
Catholic Church, so
background.
it has
Well,
no
no,
merit to me.
I'm reading it from your source. A little background on Numbers 5:11 to 31 is in order because this is a rather unusual passage in this situation in which a husband suspects his wife is an adulterer but has no evidence. He could then bring her before a religious tribunal and she would drink a concoction that would either prove or disprove the charge of adultery. There are no other such trial ordeals in the Old Testament. While there is an occasional drawing of lots to determine guilt, this is the only time that someone must undergo some kind of trial where the results are believed to reveal the truth. Such practices were more common among non-Jews in the ancient Middle East. Many scholars think this practice was adopted to prevent women from becoming victims of jealous husbands and misogynist judges. We need to remember that ancient Judaism had a deep distrust of human judgment and human justice. In situations where ancient Jews felt judgment must be rendered and that it did not have sufficient checks and balances on human prejudices, they would not turn their ways of perceiving divine judgment. To condemn someone of adultery, there had to be two witnesses, and the perpetrators had to have been warned in advance. But situations in which the husband was sure that his wife has committed adultery but could not prove it created such a strain on the marriage and the local community that they felt something had to be done to bring closure and resolution on the matter, given that the Jewish distrust of human notions of judgment and justice. Having a group of men make the judgment probably seemed like a bad idea to them. It appears that they adopted, in this one instance, a sort of ordeal/test for the wife to go through if she insisted on her innocence. Given that it is generally assumed the concoction is not actually a threat to health, the only way a bad reaction would occur would be because of psychological reaction due to a guilty conscience. As a stranger of the matter of the Old Testament, it is no real attestation from the biblical period. It is never mentioned again in the Bible, and it is only mentioned by a few historical figures and in writings, but always it is something that they have heard about, but never an actual case that they had witnessed. Some of the recollections of the procedure also differ from the biblical method, and the Mishnah states the practice was stopped, so there was some question as to whether or not it was ever actually used. But in this Bible, so what would happen if she was guilty? Well, this depends on your translation. Some translation states that she is guilty, her uterus will fail or shrink, which would mean that the baby would, that she would become infertile. A few translations do translate it that she will miscarry, but this is a distinct minority of translations. It is important to note that the reward for innocence will be that she will be able to conceive children, which seems to imply that she was infertile and she would no longer be. This would also seem to imply miscarriage is not what's being referred to as a divine punishment, but rather infertility. I love this. This is amazing.
Yeah, infertility, buddy, not miscarriage.
Yeah, I love how it literally also says some translations said that it's a miscarriage.
It's a distinct minority of translation.
All right, well, it's a translation, so.
Well, there's more of them that say otherwise, so
So what am I supposed to do here?
go with what the Catholic Church says. What do you mean? They're the ultimate interpretation
I gotta
of the
listen
Bible,
to
are they
them.
not?
Got it.
Wait,
mean,
aren't
Catholic
the
Church
Jews
is always
actually
right.
the ones? No, but isn't, because this is the Old Testament. Like the ultimate authority for the Old Testament is not the Catholic Church.
Yes, it is.
No, it's the
The
rabbis.
entire
'cause it's
Bible.
their
The
books.
entire Bible is the authority of the Catholic Church. They compiled
No,
it.
it's literally not. Also,
yeah, they did. They decided the
Catholic.com.
canon.
Yeah, Catholic.com is also like a very biased source. Also, I'm from a country where we don't have like the majority religion is not Catholicism. It's actually Orthodoxy, right? The Eastern Orthodox religion. right? Where we have different interpretations of the same thing. And you know what they're saying? They're saying they're the authority of what the Bible says. So
Well,
where are we
they're
getting this, that
inherently
they're the
wrong.
only authority over the Old Testament? And should we not listen to the actual authors of the Old Testament, or how they call it, the Torah, which are the Jews? Should we just listen to the Catholics?
Yeah, you listen to the Catholics. I mean,
Why?
you know, the Orthodox were the ones who broke away from them, not vice versa.
No, they excommunicated you, so you were thrown away.
No, we excommunicated them.
Yeah, you should look up history.
No, I have, and the Catholic Church is still here, and we're still.
And same
rolling
as the
strong.
Orthodox Church is still here and still going strong.
Yeah, and we're working things out.
But again, it's like, where do you get this thing that the Catholic Church is the only authority of the Old Testament?
It's the
And not the
authority of
people that
entire
actually
Bible.
wrote it and actually know more about it and have written way more about it than Catholics ever did.
Well, I mean, the magisterium of the Catholic Church is the one who has the ultimate authority to interpret the scriptures.
Can I just say?
Oh, so they
the
gave
term-
themselves the ultimate authority. Nice.
Can I just say that the term magisterium is absolutely hilarious to me, and I'll tell you why. If we assume that there is no God and then it's just people making stuff up, that means somebody had to sit there and come up with the word magisterium and was like, yeah, that sounds great.
I mean,
How do we get people to argue in our favor? Let's put on a bunch of wizard hats on and call stuff like
magisterium,
magistrate or magisterium, because we're like magic. We do that.
Now that you're
magic
saying
stuff.
this, Amanda, you know, another organization comes into mind that has like all this wild
I got-
names.
They're like
for
real
different
life
guys.
LARPers. They're like
I
full
appreciate the
blown
talk.
LARPers.
Hold on, Amanda, I got to go back to work. I appreciate the talk, bro. You
All
can
right.
kick me off the stage or whatever.
No, you're good.
But yeah, good talk.
Yeah. Have a good. That was crazy, Daniel.
Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
Yeah, I'll try to back out. Like if I feel like you're making an argument or something, you know?
Yeah, but every time it's like you're having like people that put their religion first and say, oh, it's like
American was talking
woman
some
should do
mad
this.
trash in Discord chat. He was talking some mad trash.
I'm really curious about something because he
Americans
said the
requesting
thing.
to speak, so we're gonna go ahead and bring him back in.
And look, it's like because this was for me was like really weird point.
All right, never
You
mind.
said
I walked out
American.
there and got told we don't actually have any work to do. So
So you said
I'm
at one
black,
point
I mean back.
American. Yeah, I just want to point this thing out because you said it's like, you said like a mother sacrificing for her child is like the ultimate thing or something like that, right?
The most
You
motherly
said
thing
that.
a mother could do is to
The
give
most
up her own
motherly
life for her
thing.
child.
Okay.
Yes, 100%.
What if?
I don't even
you know what?
disagree with that.
Let's say,
I just think it
Yeah,
should be
I
up to
think
the
it's
mother
fine.
to
I
make
think
that
it's fine.
decision.
but no, what I'm saying is like, let's imagine this scenario where it's like you get a girlfriend, you marry because you don't want to have sex outside of marriage, obviously, and she gets pregnant, and there's like a problem. There's like a problem with the pregnancy, and the doctor says, you can't, it's either the child or you, right? But then the mother also has this access to this technology that, she could unilaterally, save the child's life by pressing the button, but instead it's not her that's dying, it's you, right? And you don't have a say in it, right? She's the one that is making this call. You're just sitting there and you're saying, okay, I don't know what she's gonna do, right? Would you agree with that? Would you be okay with her making that decision for you?
Say that again. The beginning part, I missed the first half for some reason.
Yeah, so like we were talking about this type of pregnancies where like even late in the pregnancy there could be complications that can result in the mother's death, right? So sometimes
Right.
the doctor is going to tell you it's either you or the child. Okay? And let's say that
Oh,
thing happens, but
Okay.
she also has access to this technology that is magic almost. And this technology is a button, right? And she can press the button, her child will be born, fine. But instead of her dying, it's you. But you don't have a say in it, right? Only she has the button. You can't say no, yes. She makes the decision. Would you be okay with her making that decision?
So pretty much the mother gets to choose whether or not the dad gets to fucking live?
I mean, in this case, it's you, not just any father.
It's
But
me.
we could
So you're
expand it, right? Because
sacrificing
if it's a
me for the
great,
child. You're sacrificing me for my child.
basically, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
that would
I would
be
sacrifice.
okay,
I would
right?
sacrifice my. I mean, yeah, I would sacrifice.
No, it wouldn't
everything
be
for
you
my child.
sacrificing. No, it wouldn't be you sacrificing. It'd be her sacrificing you for the child.
I would gladly.
You don't have a choice.
I would jump in front of a bullet for my son, bro. So like,
Okay, so do you think if we ever have access to this type of magical technology, should we just expand it to like everybody, like every woman in the world should have access to this button? And do you think that would be okay?
this is a wild hypothetical, bro.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing with hypotheticals. They're made to actually make you think about certain consequences of certain actions.
Of things that are never gonna happen.
Yeah. No, it's not about things that are not going to happen. It's about consequences of actions. Consequences of actions always happen in the world. There's always consequences to certain actions. Always.
So you're pretty much
everywhere.
asking me if it's either me or the baby's life. I'll give up my life. It's my child. They deserve. I mean, I've been here 34 years. I mean,
No, but the question is, it's not the question of whether or not you would sacrifice yourself. Because in this case, you're not sacrificing yourself. It's somebody else sacrificing you.
well, that's murder.
No, it's a sacrifice because you called it sacrifice. You said it's okay for somebody else, like a politician, making this decision on whether or not the woman lives, right? So if the politician is entitled to make this sacrifice, then it would be even more, the mother would be even more entitled to sacrifice the father, right? Okay, well, that's.
Oh, I
That
don't
was
get
a
where
nice
you're trying. I
conversation.
don't get where you're trying to go with this. Like, I don't know why you're trying to bring like put
Well,
the dad in the
get it.
position
That's
where
why-
he's not the one that's pregnant.
Yeah. It's again, it's. I made my argument. Whoever wants to understand it understands it.
I'm sorry, having a button.
Maybe a
I know,
better
it's fine.
analogy is like you share the same blood type, and you got to give an organ. Like whether or not somebody should be compelled by law to give an organ. But I don't know. Even that doesn't work because like we're talking about not a fully grown baby. We're talking about a fetus, right? It's not even developed yet.
It's about potential and possibilities.
How about this? Better question. Is chopping down an oak tree the same as stepping on a seed?
Is chopping down an oak tree the same as stepping on a seed?
Mm-hmm. An acorn, if you will.
These are plants.
Yeah, no, I'm just asking. I understand they're plants. I'm saying, is it the same?
I really don't care. It's a fucking plant.
I'm saying, is it the same?
Sure, it can be or it can't be. It doesn't matter to me.
You think it's the same?
It's irrelevant to the conversation. I
I'm
said it
asking
can be
you,
and
is
it
it the
can't be.
same?
I don't care.
I'm asking, do
He's
you,
not asking
do
if you
you
care, man.
American, think it's the same? I'm not saying if you care or not.
Is stepping on a seed the same as stepping or chopping down a tree? In principle, yeah.
So you're saying that. Wait. Better.
No, this is just pure insanity.
Hold
I
on.
gotta
Wait,
say.
hold on. So I have an investment account, and it's worth $2 million. I also have another investment account that's got $1,000. Now I can give you one or the other. Which one do you pick?
Say the numbers again. Somebody came in the office.
So I have an
talking,
investment account that's it's worth $2 million, right? It's a mutual fund. And then another one that's worth $1,000. Which one do you pick?
Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
No, say that again.
I have 2 investment accounts that are invested in the same mutual fund. One of them's worth $1,000 and the other one's worth $2 million. Which one do you pick?
Obviously, the investment account with more money, right?
Why?
Because you can do more with it.
Well, I could be fair to say that the potential of that $1,000 account is there, right? Because it'll eventually become $2 million, given enough time.
So you're comparing money.
No, I'm just talking
To
about money,
life.
right? Because like the
To
potential,
life.
I'm saying the potential is the same.
Is the same as a human life.
No, I didn't say that. I'm talking about the potential of an investment account.
I don't see where this correlates. You're trying to compare a baby growing in a mother's womb to growing money in an investment.
I'm saying
No, he was
that
trying
we
to compare
value the thing that
potentiality.
is already there as opposed to the thing that's not. We don't give a crap about the potential is my point. Right. And even at the seed level, like your argument saying that it's the same thing is still doesn't make any sense, because it's like you've got like a tree that's been growing there for like 100 years plus. And so obviously like people are going to value the full tree as opposed to like the dumb seed that's on the ground. That one tree will make 1 billion seeds. So like, why would I care about the seed? And it's the same thing when it comes to the investment account. I look at an investment account that has $1,000 and yeah, it could be $2 million into the future, but we don't look at it that way. We look at it what it is at that moment.
You're separate. You keep trying to like separate this from humans.
I'm just
Why?
giving example. I'm giving examples of differences of potentiality, and whether or not that you consider something to be worthwhile, even though that the potential is there. Like obviously the potential is there for the $1,000 account to become $2 million, but you don't value it because it takes a lot of time for it to become $2 million. And it's the same reason for a fetus. A fetus, it has to keep building and it has to keep taking nutrients, and then it eventually becomes a person that's worthy of moral consideration.
Do you like Kamala Harris, American?
No.
Let's go.
What about Tim Walz?
Said Tim Waltz. Oh, Tim
Tim
Waltz.
Waltz?
Waltz, yeah.
Don't know.
Do you like
don't know
him?
much about the. Don't know much about the.
Oh,
guy.
okay. What do you think about his idea of providing free lunch for children at school? Are you okay with that? Are you for it
Children
or
receiving,
against it?
Children receiving free lunch.
Yeah,
at
free lunch.
At
Yes,
school.
free food at school.
I mean,
Are you for
that's-
that or against it?
I don't give a shit. To be honest with you, if they want to have free lunch for kids, go ahead. And
That's like a really good policy.
I mean, it's better than paying for fucking new field houses and big screen TVs in the cafeteria and shit. I'd pick feeding the kids food over that any day.
Okay, so you're okay with the fact that Trump doesn't want that, right?
Well, I'm also, for the abolition of the Department of Education and public schools in general.
Oh my
so
God.
Well, I could tell that by your arguments, but coming back to my point, so you are okay with the fact that Trump doesn't want that?
it's the least of my worries when I'm in the voting booth.
Oh no, I get it. I just ask you if you're okay with Trump not wanting that.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. It's
So
not
for
the
you,
reason
they're
why I'm
both-
it's not the reason why
No,
I'm voting for him.
That's cool. I understood that. Like, I'm perfectly aware to understand your position. So for you, kids having lunch, free lunch in school, and kids not having free lunch in school is morally equivalent.
I mean, I had to pay for my. Well, I didn't have to pay for it. My dad paid for it, but I mean, I didn't get free fucking lunch in school.
Okay. So it's not just they're not morally equivalent. You think it's worse if they have free lunch in school in that case?
Listen here, Daniel.
No, because I'm going somewhere.
Well, but Daniel, back in my day, we had to walk 15 miles in the snow.
Because this is your problem, American. It's like you're going to make this argument that I mean, I had to pay for my lunch, so why would they get free lunch, right? But what about the potentiality of them getting free lunch? What if getting that free lunch is going to make it so much better for the US in the future? Are you not thinking about the potentiality of it all? Shouldn't you, every time you're voting, shouldn't you getting every small piece of legislation and policy you're actually voting for and just thinking about the potentiality of it? Because apparently it's very important for you, the potentiality of something like in the future when it comes
to a human embryo,
abortion.
Yes, specifically when it comes to a human
to
embryo,
a clump
yes.
of cells, yes, to a clump of
Yeah,
cells.
a clump of cells. Sure.
Well,
that's
those
what you
clump
wanna
of
call
cells
it.
could be like the new Jeffrey Dahmer. It's like, is that a potentiality you're actually looking forward to? They could be the next Hitler, right? They could be like Pol Pot too.
They also could cure cancer.
Maybe, but so does the kid that receives free lunch instead of dying of hunger.
That's not happening.
Right? Isn't
in
it the same
schools.
potentiality? No, I mean, it's the same potentiality because we actually do have a lot of data on the fact that if kids actually eat on a regular basis and they're healthy, they're going to be more productive members of society. And you know what? Actually, kids are already born, right? So they're already here. We already can take care of them, right? It's like we don't have to birth them anymore. They're already here. So they should have like a higher consideration in everybody's eyes, including you, than like a clump of cells, right?
I disagree.
You disagree? So you think a clump of cells
It's
has
equal.
the same moral equivalence to a fully like a grown
Yes.
kid, right? Like a born child,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
They're the same.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so in
Yes.
a fire, you would save what? Would you save your son, or would you save like 10,000 fertilized eggs?
I'm not answering that.
You're not answering that because you know
So
why,
it's-
right?
it's
Because
a
you would
loaded-
choose
it's
your
a
son.
loaded question. No, I'm not answering.
No, it's not a
loaded
loaded question because
Yes, it
you
is.
literally said they have the same moral equivalence. So if they have the same
Loaded
moral
question.
equivalence, if you save your son, you would actually, according to you, right? You would sacrifice 10,000 babies because in your eyes they're babies. This is the absurdity to which you have to stoop.
No,
if you're
it's the
thinking like
absurdity
this.
you're
And everything
stooping
is-
to.
No, I'm not stooping to any absurdity.
You
me
are,
and
because that
Amanda, we're
hypothetical is fucking
very
insane.
coherent in our position, right? And we can actually defend our position and
I
actually
mean, yeah,
have
you guys want
cogent
to murder
arguments.
babies. I
regarding-
understand. That's
No,
fine.
I don't want to murder babies.
I understand
Neither
your
me or
argument.
Amanda
Daniel,
want to
I
murder
love
babies.
murdering babies. We should eat babies and then feed them to Hillary
I
Clinton.
mean, we're eating chicken every day, so like they're the chicken babies. And pork and beef, right? They're also babies for their specific.
love a good baby
species.
murdering. Like God.
Yeah.
God loves a good baby murdering too.
Well, I mean, he does love that. Yeah. He's a baby killing aficionado, some would say.
I knew it. You're funded by George Soros.
Yes.
So we're just gonna religion bash up here, or are we gonna have a discussion?
We could have a discussion, man. Sorry. I was just joking.
But yeah, I feel it's equal. Like I said, the most motherly thing a mother could do is give up her life for her own child.
Mm.
Just like that's the most
And
fatherly
save the
thing a father could
10,000
do.
embryos.
I think the
And
most
save the
motherly
10,000
thing
embryos.
that a government can do is try to do everything they can to make sure that children don't end up in negative socioeconomic conditions, but can actually pull themselves up by their bootstraps by getting a good education and having access to lunch. What do you think? Huh? It's good for kids.
Say that again.
Never mind.
No, say that again.
I was saying that the most motherly thing a government could do is
Well,
by...
the government isn't our parents' amender.
That's correct. They're not. But I think that they can
Stop treating them like
facilitate...
they are.
Well, but they could facilitate your well-being. That's kind of what governments are for.
Sure, but you're also supposed to take your well-being into your own hands as well.
Yes, both. I agree, both.
Who do you think does a better job at it, you or the government?
It depends. Depends on
On
what's
what?
being done. Like, I think people's ability to maintain roads is really bad.
I'm
I
not
don't
talking
think
about
that they
roads,
could
I'm talking about
potentially
health.
maintain interstate. Well, but here's the problem, right? Ambulances run on roads. Okay, they don't
Ambulances
run
are
on
also not run by
grassland,
the
and they don't
government.
run very well if it's no. What ambulances are run by the government? Where?
No, they're not. I said they're not. They're privatized.
That's
They're
correct.
contracted
But
out by
you
the
need
hospital.
ambulances, right? And so you need an ambulance to be able to make it to your house. So it helps that your house likely has a paved road to access. Right? You with me?
Yeah, you're going with the government has a monopoly on the ability to create a flat surface for vehicles to drive on. I get it.
Well, I'm just saying, I'm pointing out the obvious situation, right? Obviously, there's instances where the government is quite beneficial to people, and we could do things to facilitate, especially children's well-being.
So killing them is facilitating their well-being, right?
Well, that's a decision on the basis of the mother. And that's also a question as to whether or not you consider an unborn fetus to be up for moral consideration.
So you concede this is also subjective.
Well, I suppose so. I don't have an issue with calling something subjective. I think if something is subjective doesn't mean it's therefore invalid or ought not be considered.
So then you would say that your take is not objective.
That's correct.
All right, then. Well, then I guess I have my take and you have yours.
Okay. I don't know what that was. I mean, your take is subjective too. Why don't you worship Hare Krishna and use Hare Krishna? I mean, Hare Krishna has revealed himself all across India.
You're asking a Catholic this question,
That's
really?
correct. Yeah, because you're
Yeah, because
well,
you have a
the
false
answer is
god.
that you're born on the west side of the Himalayas, and that's why you don't believe in Hare Krishna, right? So it is subjective, your interpretation as well. So that wasn't a gotcha or a dunk, unfortunately.
It wasn't a gotcha, bro. I wasn't trying. I don't do gotchas.
Yep.
But no, yeah, it's not okay, dude, to abort babies. I'm sorry, even with the help of the mother, bro.
All right.
Under
You
no
got anything else
circumstance.
for me, American?
Nobody's
What's
killing
that?
babies though.
You got anything else for me, American?
I mean, I could take a look at your list.
Well, I mean, on this particular topic, because we got to move on.
I mean, where do you want to go with it?
I'm asking you. It sounds like we've exhausted this topic.
I would agree so.
Okay.
Well, here's one I actually do agree with you on. The Bible promotes slavery. I agree with that.
Are you in favor of that? Is that a good thing?
Is it a good thing that the Bible promotes slavery?
Yeah.
Well, see, when it comes to interpreting scripture,
Stop.
there's very
Stop.
things in the
Just
Bi-
stop.
No,
You don't
just-
answer that with a well.
Well, no, because it's there.
All right.
That doesn't mean it's okay, though. And you have to take into account when it was written, who it was written by, when you're reading those scriptures and interpreting them. And
Who was written by?
ask if Jesus was, did Jesus teach slavery?
Hey, Daniel, imagine, right? If you asked me, you were like, what do you think about incest? And I said, well, ... How would
No, but you know what I love the most is that now American, you're suddenly, the Old Testament, it wasn't written by the Catholics though. It was written by those Jews. Well, earlier you were saying, no, the Catholics are like the ultimate,
When it comes to interpreting the scripture,
when it
yes.
comes
That's
to
why I said when you
interpretation,
interpret.
yes.
That's why I said when scripture is interpreted, it is important to also take into account.
And how does the
who-
Catholic Church
who the
interpret?
book was written by and when it was written.
How
What
is
things
the
are to be
Catholic
taken
Church
literal?
interpreting
What
these
things are
passages in the
not to be
Bible?
taken literal?
Mhm.
What'd you say?
How does the Catholic Church interpret those passages in the Bible?
About slavery?
And has this interpretation changed through the ages?
The interpretation of slavery in the Bible by the Catholic Church?
Well, we weren't talking about anything else, so I would assume yes.
Catholic Church admits that that was the time period and it was not okay, and Jesus teaches that.
Okay, and has the Catholic Church's position changed throughout the ages?
On slavery.
Yes,
No,
on the
it has
portrayal
not.
of slavery in the Bible and slavery in general. Has the position
Never
of the
changed.
Catholic Church
Teaching
changed?
has
been the
been,
same.
the teaching has been fairly
Nothing's-
consistent.
Okay, so the Catholic Church never said slavery is okay.
So would you say like slaves obey your earthly masters just as you would obey in Christ? That's an okay verse. You cool with that? In
It's
2024,
more so preaching humility.
that preaches humility.
Yes.
Do you think that
Just like-
as a slave that you should obey your earthly master just as you should obey in Christ?
I mean, just as much as you should obey a tyrannical government. Yeah, I mean, render under Caesar what is Caesar's. He wouldn't, whether they're tyrannical or not.
That's a really weird take, man. I got to tell you.
It's not a weird take.
Oh,
And also,
yes.
like the Catholic Church was like pretty okay with the transatlantic slave trade. Like in general, they were like pretty okay with the whole slavery thing, up until civil society and secularism kind of said, that's not really good. It's kind of bad. We should not do that anymore. So how do you square that with what you're saying?
So you're saying the Catholic Church had a part in the slave trade?
That's not what I said. You should really pay attention. What I said is the Catholic Church was pretty okay with the transatlantic slave. Maybe they also had a hand in it. Maybe they also had some profits from it. I don't know that exactly because I don't care that much. What I care is about what they were saying. And they weren't saying that much when it comes to the slave trade. They were like, yeah, that's fine, that's okay, no biggie. And then they changed, but they changed only after everybody else, right, in the West said, you know what, slavery kind of a bad thing. That's when, suddenly they had this revelation from God that actually slavery is bad.
Yeah, I don't ever recall a time.
You don't
the
know
Catholic
that,
Church
okay.
was teaching that slavery is okay. I don't ever remember a time Jesus saying slavery is okay.
I wasn't talking about Jesus.
It says
I was
that in
talking
New
about the Catholic
Testament, it
Church.
literally says that to slaves obey your earthly masters just as you would obey
Just
Christ.
because he's telling you how to behave as a slave,
As
it
a
doesn't mean it's
slave
okay.
to your master.
For fuck's sake, Amanda.
I don't think you should obey your master. I think
Do you
should,
think
leave
slaves
your
should
master.
obey their master?
I think you should leave your master. Your master
What's
sucks.
the what's the alternative? Death?
Leave.
What do you
Be
think
free.
the alternative should be when it comes to the slave-master relationship?
I mean, what do you think that the?
I'm asking you, what do you think?
What do you think?
It's like when I'm asking, American. It's like when I'm asking, what do you think? I'm not asking you to ask me a question. I'm asking you what you think. What do you think should be the relationship between a master and a slave? How do you think the slave should behave towards the master?
He should listen.
Yep.
Render.
Well, so you're in agreement with Christ. Yes, you are in agreement with Jesus Christ.
To be
Yes.
fair,
Yes.
Jesus
I
Christ
am
did
in
not say
disagreement.
that. It was an apostle of
Yeah, an
Jesus
apostle, yeah,
that
it
said
was-
and it's honestly
No, it
it's
wasn't even an
really
apostle, I
freaking
think.
gross.
Yeah.
It's really
I don't
gross.
think it
It's
was
not
a-
something
yeah.
that I would want to own. Like it's obvious that
Do you know what I would do?
for whatever reason, God's like if God exists, 100%, he changed his mind somewhere. 100%. And if I ever end up on those pearly gates, that's the number one question I'm going to ask him. I'm going to just tell him. I'm going to just tell him like just out of the woodwork. I'm going to be like, listen, I know I'm going to hell, but I just want to ask one question. Why'd you change your mind?
And he's gonna say, "Be gone from me. I did not know you."
Well,
No,
I
but
just
American,
want to know.
I'm
I just
gonna
want to
tell
know.
you-
Nothing more. Nothing more. I just wanted to know. I'm
I'm
going to
just
hell,
gonna
but
tell
I
you
just
what
wanted
I
to
would
know.
do. Yeah, what I would do in my relationship with, like my master, right? If I'm a slave, I would try to kill that guy. I would try to kill that guy. I would try to get away. I would try to free
Beast.
myself.
Is
It
that
would
what Christ
not
would
be. Yeah, I don't care about Christ. I'm telling you what I would do. I don't know if you noticed. I'm not Jesus Christ. So what I would do, I would
Do
try
you think it's
to fuck
Christ-like?
him up, and I would try to. I don't care. It's like I'm not turning the other cheek. I'm killing his cheeks. You know.
Hey, yo, that was wild, bro.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
I'm killing his
And I think-
cheeks, bro.
Yeah, I
that's
think every
wild.
slave
Jesus crazy.
every slave ever
That's
had the
wild.
right to do this.
I
Do
mean,
you disagree?
Rip and Tear tells
Do
you.
you think slaves have like a right to do anything in order to set themselves free?
I would say if if they're being abused,
So you don't believe in
Uh,
the American dream, right? With like your right to pursuit of happiness.
No, I think
life,
the
whatever
Confederacy
it
was
is.
based.
All
Yeah,
right, bro.
but you don't believe in that. You don't believe that somebody should have that right? You think if they're slaves, they should just accept it and
How can you say that openly?
make the best out of it.
What?
I mean, you're literally promoting slavery, bro.
Why do you want the Confederacy? Why do you like the Confederacy?
Also,
I like
the Confederacy, weren't they like the
because
traitors?
No, they weren't. They had the gall to stand up, to a tyrannical union.
Stand up to do what? American.
Wait,
to
is the Union
separate.
Army
no,
was the
stop,
Northern
stop,
Army, right?
Daniel. Stand up to do what?
Okay, sorry.
to separate, to say, hey, we don't want
Really,
to be
to
part. I don't wanna-
separate,
we
to
don't want-
separate,
we
to
don't want
do what?
to say
American.
we don't want to share a government
Nope.
with you.
To to separate so that you're okay. They wanted to separate to do what?
So they could not have to be under the thumb of some
Oh,
motherfucker living
To do
thousands of
what?
miles away.
To do what?
You're gonna say slavery, but that's not what it was all about.
Yeah, that is what it's about. Wait, hold on. Do you want me to bring you the state's secession? Literally every single state that wrote their articles saying that they were
Every single
seceding
one?
to the United States. Every
Every
single
single
one
one.
of them mentioned that the reason why they're seceding is because they want a right to own slaves, with the exception of one, which is mentioned later on in that same one. I think it was Texas specifically that did that. But to make the argument that it was just states' rights and had nothing to do with slavery is just independent of the facts. I can pull up the museum the museum that shows the secession papers that were created at
Those
the
are
time.
Photoshop.
Okay, bro. All right.
Oh my god.
You're pro-slavery. All right. I think we're done with
I'm
that.
pro-slavery.
Are we
You are.
I think
Not really.
I think that's about it for the show. What do you think? That was a pretty good. I'll let
No,
you have
'cause
the last word, American, but that's it.
I'm not pro-slavery. I don't own slaves. I don't intend on ever owning slaves. I don't ever intend on being a slave. So yeah, I'm pretty anti-slavery.
All right, cool.